This Sunday marks National Grandparents' Day, and today we're going to highlight the importance of those intergenerational relationships for kids and adults. Here to help us out are Nicole Davis and Somia Malik with the Goddard School of Bethesda. Welcome to Great Day, Washington. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Well, grandparents, they play such an important role in our families. Why is it so important for children to spend time with their grandparents?
That's such a great question. I feel like with their love, wisdom, and their special kind of bonding with the children, they're able to offer an experience that builds the families together.
Yeah.
And we offer a lot of events at the Goddard School Bethesda. For example, the Family Fun Day Fair, for them to come and play a special part, and those types of bonding with their culture and diversity goes a long way.
Yeah, they really offer a perspective that we don't get anywhere else, but from grandparents, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, what are some everyday tips that you might recommend for families and children to connect and bond with their grandparents, especially if they're not close by?
Sure. Well, the one thing to remember is that it does not have to be complicated. Setting up FaceTime. You know, maybe during dinner time, you have dinner with your grandparents. They could be across the sea or they could be across the neighborhood. Having dinner together, reading a book together. For example, we were in traffic this morning, and instead of listening to music or listening to the kids fight in the back seat, we called up Bubby and Pop Pop.
Oh, yeah.
And they read a story to my children. And it's just something just so simple as that. And then they started their day with this love in their heart of, my grandparents read me a story.
Yeah, that is
I didn't
so
have to listen
lovely.
to mom in the front seat.
Right, and grandparents have a way of making the fighting stop too, don't they? It's just their voice.
Yeah,
Something about
they
them.
listen better.
Yes, they do. Now, are there any fun traditions that you've been seeing that really make that bonding so great for grandchildren and grandparents?
Absolutely. We see a lot of things that they're doing together now. You know, not just with the advent of technology, where we're able to really be able to see each other, from across the, like I said before, across the neighborhood or across the country, but being able to work on a craft together when they are together. Building a, making a meal together, and the grandparents can talk about their heritage and their culture while telling stories about when they were younger, as well as, when you're cooking that meal together with the child as well.
Yeah.
Reading a bedtime story together, reading stories from, your grandparents' ages that gets passed down to the children, really just letting your grandchildren know about how it was like, before Google, when if you needed something, you had to pull out an encyclopedia.
Right, they're like,
kids
what
think,
is that?
Kids think that's fantastic.
Yes. Gosh, and thank goodness for FaceTime. My dad used to FaceTime my son because I was putting the girls to bed, and I'd say, Dad, can you talk to him?
Yeah,
exactly. And it was very helpful, actually, and also very lovely. Now, what would you say are some of the great benefits for children and adults when they bond?
Oh, absolutely. They feel a sense of purpose. Parents, as they get older, they sometimes they don't work anymore, and it's really a sense of purpose, and it's a way of keeping their lifestyle alive to somebody else.
Yeah.
And
that's priceless, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so the child feels loved, they feel valued, and they're able to realize, strengthen their bond. It really strengthens their social bonds and, that emotional piece of them as well.
For sure. Invaluable.
And we love to do that at the school. We'll have Grandparents' Day where they come, and the children now, once grandparents are reading the stories to the kids, now the kids are able to read to their grandparents. And the look of pure joy on the grandparents' faces as they're like, oh, okay, now you can read to me. This is amazing.
That's wonderful.
So planting a flower together outside and watching it bloom.
Wonderful. That is so great. I'm glad you have events there at the Goddard School for grandparents. Thank you both so very much for being here.
Oh, it's so welcome. Thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it. For more tips and information on the Goddard School, you can follow them on Facebook at the Goddard School. And Great Day Washington will be right back after this break.